So I just wrapped up a really, really good interview with Adam Murray, a guy within my program. He's been with us now for about 4 to 5 months. He's currently making 5,000, well, actually 5,500 per month with his social media marketing business. And he pretty much started from zero about 4 to 5 months ago. So you're going to learn exactly how he did that, but you're also going to learn that he has a street food company. So he already had this business set up before he started social media marketing. He transitioned into social media marketing because he wanted higher profit margins where he can make basically less money, such as 5.5 thousand per month, but his profit is pretty much 100%, which in his other business, he's got to make way more money, like way more money to make that same profit. He still does the two side by side, and you're going to hear exactly what has worked for the street food company business, how we got into it, and what he's doing with social media marketing. Hope you enjoy. So this interview, as you can see, is going to be with Adam, Mr. Adam Murray. Really excited for this one because I knew Adam from his social media content before he started working with us. So we're going to touch on what he's doing there. And now he's worked with us, doing very well, got his social media marketing business and his other business. So two businesses on the go. So I think it's going to be good, guys. Some really good insights coming your way. So Adam, feel free to give people a proper introduction. Who are you? What are you doing? And we'll get kicked off, man.
Yeah, 100%. Adam, firstly, thank you for having me. I hope everyone can hear me all right. So, I am Adam Murray. I own Adam Murray Agency, and of course, I own Biddle Street Food. We are a Tex-Mex, I was going to say food trailer, but we've actually expanded recently in
Nice.
Drogheda, County Louth. And yeah, I'm 24 years old. Got the passion for business basically ever since I was a child. I was always called the Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses, and I've just tried my hand at every business the past since secondary school, really, and it's kind of landed me here. I was posting social media content for Biddles every single day, and I found that I'm actually maybe good at that, we shall say. Came across Adam's content, and it kind of synced in with the time that other businesses started asking me to manage their social media, and that's what made me join the 6FA.
Yeah, yeah, love it, man. And to give people kind of that background, man, like, did you do a bunch of other businesses before Bidos with the street food, or was that kind of the main thing so far?
Yeah, well, that was kind of the main thing. But through school, I always had side businesses. So
Mm,
I went to
nice.
in secondary school, I used to start selling sweets out of my locker. I
Mm.
used to make €200 a day for in fourth and fifth year. Go to deals after school every day, and I'd come into school the next day like the Michelin man. I was renting other people's lockers off them, filling them with sweets and selling them. And then I started reselling. So reselling became really big back in about I think it was 2016, give or take.
Hmm.
Supreme, Yeezys, Pharrell Williams NMDs. I think I'm the only person I've ever known to get like a Supreme box logo hoodie on an iPhone.
Mm,
So I
mm.
bought one of them in the school bathrooms at 11 o'clock for €130. I sold it for £690 to a man in Scotland. I was set as, well, everyone hates the ticket touts, but I was one of them when I was 16 and 17. Electric Picnic, Longitude. I always, even down to the most simple level, like playing FIFA when I was younger, rather than actually playing the game, I love trading on the market and selling players for profit. And yeah, and basically they were my only real businesses before I decided to set up
Hmm.
Bidos.
Nice, man. Nice. That's definitely a Del Boy classic right there.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't get that reference, you need to watch. Just type in Del Boy, Only Fools and Horses, one of the best TV shows there is known to man. But Adam, then coming to the street food, because like man, that's a big thing to start. Like for me, thinking back when I started doing things online, to get the idea to set up a food company and deal with like people in person, and obviously the funding that kind of goes with that, it obviously costs more money than starting something online where you can kind of do it for free. What was that thought process, man? Really curious to hear that.
Good naivety could be a good word to put out there. Look, I done a J1 in San Francisco, so I
Hmm.
see an amazing, amazing Mexican street food the whole way to my work on the pier every day, and it was so fresh, authentic, and the people look like they're having a really good time as well doing it. And Drogheda in County Louth had absolutely nothing like it. Unfortunately, it's the biggest town in the country on its derelict, and I always wanted to be able to do more for the town, bring more to it. So that's kind of where I stumbled across setting up a street food concept. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I don't know what didn't come into my mind and why I didn't think sooner to delve into making money online,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Mm-hmm.
far better margins. But I was weighing up options, and a food trailer was always basically the cheapest business in my mind that I could
Mm-hmm.
set up. But in hindsight, it definitely was not. And especially, I guess you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I bought a food trailer for a bit under 15,000 euro, and then I quickly found out that you need a full commercial approved prep kitchen, which I was fortunate enough I could put one in my garage. But to kit that out alone was probably another 12, 13,000 euro.
Mm.
And then I was pulling a trailer on a Ford Fiesta, and I blew the engine in it basically after 5 days. And then I had to buy a van, and that was 18,000 euro. So I quickly went from spending 15 grand to 50 grand in the hole nearly.
Yeah, man. Like, and I think that's the thing. Obviously, that idea, right? Of you've gone abroad, you've seen a food truck concept, and then you've decided, hey, cool, I could bring that back home. But like for most people who would have that idea, that's obviously the I guess the block that stops them, right? Of like, hey, there's a lot of money here. You know what I mean? There's a lot of costs that are going to
Yeah.
come up, man. So yeah, it's super inspirational, man, that you jump straight into that as well. Because I think even just on like a mindset level, even if you had the cash, right, it's like a whole other thing then to go, I'm going to take that and I'm going to go and deploy that into this thing that I am confident I'm going to make work. But at the end of the day, who knows? Just that
Yeah.
kind of self belief improvement.
Yeah, I'm even like in fairness, it didn't happen straight away for me with the street food. I came back and I got into the normal 9 to 5 route. Like
Mm-hmm.
I went to college in Dundalk. I got my bachelor's of business studies,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got in a good graduate program, electrical wholesale. I just want to challenge myself, something I really had no interest in,
Mm-hmm.
out of my comfort zone. And I started on about 30 grand a year. They put me in a warehouse for 6 months. And I was like, wow, I was such a reality shock. I was like, this is not what I want to do. I always knew I wanted to own a business. And then for about a year and a half, I got too comfortable getting a wage. But there was people in the company who were there 20, 30, 40 years in the same job
Mm-hmm.
as me. And I just knew that I didn't want that. Didn't want to be going to the same place for holidays every year. I always had bigger aspirations for
Yeah,
myself, which is why everyone else is in this call as well.
for
So
sure.
look, I really put in the work. I was doing the full-time job and the trailer Friday, Saturday, Sunday until I was fortunate enough about 4 or 5 months down the line, I started to make more money in the trailer. And then
Mm-hmm.
it did give me the faith to say, right, we can move full time. I didn't just necessarily jump into it straight away. I tried to take some form of calculated approach. I'm just happy I was able to make it work so far.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, man. And like you said, you've expanded, you've got the trailers, physical location now and everything as well. So excited to see where it goes, man. And I guess, Adam, for the topic of this call, right? Everybody here is trying to either start their social media marketing agency or they already have it up and running, they're working with clients and they're doing well. For you, like what was it just a no-brainer to start posting on TikTok and Instagram yourself for the street food company? Because obviously, older business owners, that might be a disconnect where they wouldn't think of that right away and they'd go more traditional routes. Curious, man. Did you just say, hey, fuck it, if I'm going to do this thing, it's got to be TikTok, it's got to be Instagram, and just get straight into it?
Yeah, exactly. I kind of it was most common form of marketing to me,
Mm,
especially being, everyone here, probably the younger generation, grew up being
yeah.
online. That's how I see and everything. That's what influenced me to buy stuff was the
Hmm.
internet. Like
Hmm.
you could walk across any high street in a town in Drogheda, or sorry, in Ireland, and you don't know anything about the food businesses. You're not enticed to go into any of them.
Hmm.
I wanted to use social media to build a brand that people can buy into the founder-led content, buy into me
Yeah.
and come in and shop with us. That was a real differentiator. And then I committed to posting every single day since December 2023. And if there's a case I ever miss a day, I go to 2 days. And now I'm actually trying to get to two posts a day because we're up getting now, 900,000 views
Mm.
a month. And I wouldn't have the business if it wasn't for social media. 100%. Every opportunity has come to me through that. And even a lot of people would ask me, Adam, do you actually make any money off social media? I make no money directly from the
Hmm.
views, but
Hmm.
all my customers come from social media. Basically every single one. I do a lot of private catering. They all find out about me through social media. So we've been building up that social proof that we're
Yeah.
always in people's minds. And then when it is catering or where we go for food, they think of me straight away. Social media was just was a no-brainer from the start.
100%, man. I'm going to pull open just your Instagram here in a moment, man,
Yeah.
just to kind of show people what we're working with. Such a good point, man, because like that's obviously the misconception of like Adam's posting this content and he's getting paid directly. No, he's got a business that people are seeing him, then they see his business, and then he makes money. It's a funnel, you know? And I guess, man, for people listening, like obviously only share what you're comfortable sharing, but
Yeah.
like if we could look at kind of how many views you're pulling in monthly, that'd be super cool to see. And then if you want to give any figures on like the business stats, revenue, so people can kind of understand that marketing actually has an impact. You know, it's not just views for the sake of views. Like you said, it's you're not getting paid direct, but your business is, you know, it's generating a serious amount of money off the
Yeah.
back of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've given talks now, which is wild to me, in like the DKT, the college I was in. I
Mm-hmm.
graduated with a 2.2, the lowest you can get. And a year after graduating, I went in with talks and I was like, how am I gonna make not make these people listen to me, but get them to listen to me and actually
Mm-hmm.
let them know I do know what I'm talking about. So my introduction line is, why should you listen to me? Because I graduated with a 2.2, you're all gonna graduate with more than me, but I have a company that's going to generate 500,000 euro in 2025,
Boom.
and that gets the ball rolling. And it's all from the power of social media. Like across Instagram and TikTok at the moment, we're hopefully going to do about 900,000 views this month. If
Hey,
I was actually to pull up my analytics here for you, I can give you literally today's analytics on Instagram alone. Let me
yeah,
see.
let's do it, man. I'm gonna open up your page here just so people can kind of see
Yeah.
what you're doing as well. And like I think the really interesting thing, man, is your page has 5,000 followers, which people might see that and they would have an assumption as to how much money you make based off of he's got 5,000 followers. As you just mentioned, like the reality is you just need a few thousand people to make hundreds of thousands per year. Like that's the
Yeah.
reality.
Exactly. Like it's I find that there's been a move away from people necessarily following your page, especially since TikTok. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's all organic now with the likes of Reels or For You
Yeah,
pages. Like profile activity the past month, 9,000 people have actively went onto my profile, came across it. We're at about 299 external link taps. So that's direct
nice.
taps to my website that people can inquire for private catering. We're now going to be adding a table booking service, or they can also order on our website. So that's nearly all direct funnels to something we sell, like product or
Yeah.
service.
Love it, man. Love it. And let's say, Adam, if I was to work with a restaurant or a food business, right, and I was going to do marketing for them, what would you give to me as like the advice that you've seen battle tested from what you've literally done, like you said yourself, every day pretty much for the bones of a year or two now? Like, what would be the playbook if you were me to go and help another food company do well on social media?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll actually start with what I'm going to try start doing now at the moment
Mm-hmm.
more as well. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I want to do the two posts a day. I
Hey.
need to do a better job with showing off the food. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at the Instagram and scroll through it, you won't see many images of food, which is wild for
Yeah.
a food-based business. It
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of founder-led content. So
Mm-hmm.
now I am looking to do more food, showcase it, let people know what we actually do. And then in essence, since day one, it's been all founder-led. You have come along with me on the journey every single day of what we do, the trials, the tribulations, the ups and downs. I'll show you the day the tire blows up in the trailer. I have
Yeah.
500 euro in the back of the van, in the back of the trailer of food, and I've lost 500 euro for the day. Or even I see the video there, bad news. We were meant to announce our new location announcement, and
Mm-hmm.
the man who was meant to put up the sign never came. And then I'll show you my wins as well. Like St. Patrick's Day was our best day ever on the cards. I'll show you our sales increasing. I'll show you new things we're trying to do. So
Mm-hmm.
since we moved into our permanent location, we've started putting new items on the menu. So I'm showcasing them what we're going to do. So in essence, if you were a social media manager going into a business, into a restaurant, I'd encourage the owner, the person whose
Mm-hmm.
baby
Mm-hmm.
it is, to get on the camera, talk as much as he can about the business, why he set it up, give a backstory, because people buy off a person first before they necessarily buy a product or service. People buy from people.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Couldn't agree more. And like, there's obviously that disconnect with a lot of founders where they don't want to show their face. They don't want to get on camera And obviously, I would agree with you. I would just say to that person, well, like you should. So, get over that fear and just go for it.
Oh,
But
big, big,
let's say I have a curveball for you, man. So let's
yeah.
say it was a founder, but the founder's, silent investor kind of type of guy, set up this business. He's got a ton of other things going on, doesn't have the time to record content, but then he also just doesn't want to do it, no matter how much we tell him to do it. If you were managing his social media, would there be anything you think you could take from what you've learned here that you could still maybe apply, but just not with the founder being kind of the face of it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, look, some of the most successful things I've done have even been like challenges. If your name
Mm,
was Adam or Amy a couple of months ago, you got tacos for free for a week.
love
Now, of
it.
course, at the start, that loses revenue for the business, but it's
Hmm.
such cheap lead generation.
Yeah.
If Adam yourself, you come in and get food and you bring your girlfriend and you enjoy it, you're going to become a recurring customer, and it's all
Yeah.
about lifetime revenue of the
Hmm.
customer.
Hmm.
If you have a business that people only come and buy once, you don't have a business. You need them to come again. And that's why we do give stuff away for free. Like I think that Adam and Amy video got 250,000 views on TikTok and 70 or 80,000 views on Instagram. Then it just
Nice.
became a series. We started doing
Yeah.
that all the time. Then we introduced like €2 taco nights. So it's all really, really cheap lead generation. Like if you could for like content creation, I know you can do like a free, we'll just say 14-day content plan or something along the line of that.
Hmm.
Something that doesn't actually cost you a whole bundle of money, but if they can buy into it and get the social proof of it, you're going to get a bigger investment on the back end.
Definitely, definitely, man. I love that because that's obviously transferable, like you said, to a business that doesn't want to show their face, right? Like that, be unique, like come up with these events and nights and special offers you can do. And obviously, there's that risk of, okay, we might have to give out a few bits of food for free. But as you said, like it's going to be some of the best customers you're probably going to get. People that get it for free that have such now a high expectation of the food and go, hey, yeah, feck it, I'm definitely going to come back and refer other people that they know as well. So I like that, man. In terms of tools, like what do you use to do everything for the social media? Like,
Yeah,
is it a fancy setup or is it something that
look,
you can just bring with you?
yeah, it's quite literally handheld. So I started off just using an iPhone
Mm-hmm.
13. Then I upgraded to the DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
Mm-hmm.
I got the creator combo, but I think it
Mm-hmm.
was the best investment I've nearly ever made. It was €650. It's pocket size. It connects up to Bluetooth in your phone. You
Mm-hmm.
record on the camera. The best thing is it has the front facing camera, so you can see yourself the whole time you're recording. And it just makes life so easy. It downloads straight to the app and job done. You go on a CapCut, you edit your videos. I think CapCut's like €8 a month. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it's little to nothing. And it's producing the highest quality videos possible. Like I'm sure a lot of people here might have cameras for 2 or 3 or 4,000 euro. But I've Instagram and TikTok uh, in layman's terms like downgrade the quality of the video. So the
Mm-hmm.
DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is quite literally the best for content creation and doing all that in-person kind of recording.
Yeah. Yeah, man, 100%. And I love the fact that you just started with the phone because it's such a simple thing. And people are going to hear that and they're going to brush over that, and they're just going to go, okay, so you started with the phone and then you got this kind of more fancy setup. But like you built a business filming stuff on your phone, and I think people need to really just
Exactly.
like swallow that because when I started, same thing. I was taking calls on like a laptop with terrible quality mic, terrible quality webcam, and in essence, it doesn't matter. Yes, of course, you could argue you might close a few more deals with higher quality, and obviously, when you can afford it, definitely spend the money, get the better equipment. But like anything we're doing can really be done with with little investment. Obviously, what you're
Yeah.
doing, man, it's different. Like you talked about
Yeah.
there, that upfront cost. But in terms of the actual marketing, the day to day, it's more about just doing it than
Well,
actually
exactly.
having the best gear.
Everyone has a phone.
Yeah.
Every single person has a phone. And even like if you ask me, Adam, what is the one investment you'd make to start? Like it'd be a €15 mic off Amazon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you really do need.
Love it. Love it, man. And then Adam, like obviously then the transition to when you kind of started working with us was that, yeah, you kind of started to see those opportunities of not just doing social media for your business, but then doing it for other businesses as well. So I guess, man, since you've started that, when did you start exactly? It's probably about, I'd say we're looking at maybe 4, maybe 5 months ago now at this stage,
Yeah,
right?
about March, I think it was, give or take. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And
exactly.
where are you at now with it in terms of like how many clients do you have, and if you're comfortable sharing, let's say
Yeah,
like the revenue as well?
we're at a 5,500 euro a month, and that
Right.
comes from how many? Is it four clients now? One, three, five clients. Literally
Five
just five
clients.
clients, and
Cool.
we're at 5.5 grand a month. It's
Amazing.
wild. I in hindsight, it's easy, but I would have definitely doubled down on this business first before setting up the food trailer. The margins in it are just impeccable in comparison
Yeah,
to selling
yeah.
something with a in food. There's an expiry date and a use by date, and I pay like some weeks you have staff there, and you could be spending minimum four figures on wages.
Mm,
While the yourself and everyone in here knows there is far more lucrative margins in the content creation and social media management.
for sure, man. Two different beasts, really different businesses. And that's obviously why I'm so passionate about it and the work we do is because, if you don't have that funding to start that food company you want to start, you can start with something like social media marketing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really don't need much to start it. And I think the more important thing for people is it's the skill set. Yes, like you've done, Adam, you've gotten it now to 5.5K a month. Your profit on that is probably pretty much all profit. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Very
yeah.
few expenses. So it's absolutely phenomenal. Get that with any other business within bloody 4 to 5 months. And yeah, I'd be pretty impressed if you can,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But the flip of that is the skills. Because if somebody starts with social media marketing for other companies, they're basically getting paid to get the experience of how to do marketing, which then anything else you want to start down the road, of course, you can pull from those skills. That's why I'm so bullish on this, man. I really do think it's the best
ex-
opportunity out
yeah.
there.
And
And
exactly, like I am sorry for cutting you off, but even
all
in
good,
my
man.
opinion, I think turnover is vanity, and people use that as great metric. Like I mentioned, 500,000 euro there for the year. That's the plan, but that is the turnover, not the profit. Like there's months there in the food business we've done 30, 40,000 euro on 30,000 euro. I could have expenses of 22, 23, 24, 25,000. Like I could just do 5 grand a month managing social media accounts and nearly 5 grand of it's profit. And at the end of the day, it's a profit that matters.
That's it.
Otherwise you're working for nothing. I'd far prefer to have a business that we're doing 20, 30,000 euro a month managing social media accounts with 85% margins than to be doing 100 grand a month in food, but only
Yeah.
making 10 grand profit at the end of the month.
100%, man. 100%. And so I guess, man, you have a very interesting perspective because you started, in my eyes, with the harder thing of the physical business. Like you said, lower margins, so more costs involved. And it's just more complex. There's more things to manage. And like you said, expiry dates, even thinking about that, I'm like, fucking hell, yeah, you got to really be on
Yeah.
top of everything that's coming in and going out. But you've got that perspective now of doing the two. So how do you see you like going forward with the two of them? You've obviously expanded like the food company still. So are you planning of just grow the two like kind of
Yeah.
simultaneously as much as you can, or where do you see it going?
I didn't even mention this to you. I went to send it. I'm so bullish on this. I went to send the payment for 7FA about 2 weeks ago, and it bounced back to my account. And I don't know. It was maybe it came at the right time that not to double down on it just yet because I lost
Mhm.
my two main staff in the food business the past 2 weeks,
Ah,
and
damn,
I'm
man.
going
Yeah.
to South America in the first 2.5 weeks of August. And the main chef I lost, he knows how to do everything, and I only know nowadays how to do about 70% of the food.
Mm.
So so where was I going with that? I got yeah, I
Well, I
only know
guess
how to do
timing
about
wise, right? It's probably, yeah, you need to put the head
yeah.
down a bit still on the food side, right?
Exactly. So now I'm in the process of creating like the Biddo's Bible is what I call it. So the
Love it.
standard operating procedures. I know Ross is massive on that. And I was
Yeah.
actually message Ross the other day to meet up when he comes back home about all these standard operating procedures and how important they are. Because the second I can have my systems in place, I know I have a solid team in both locations. I'm doubling down 100% on the marketing
Love
because
it.
in my opinion, that's where all the money is. I'm very limited to location and cash flow in the actual food business. While with this and doing the content creation and the management, I can have clients anywhere in the world. I've done 5.5 grand a month now, and all my clients are in the Loud Mead area.
Hmm.
If I
Hmm.
start tapping into other markets and really sending out as many proposals and offers as possible and building that stellar package, I think the world's your oyster.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And obviously, again, that's like the timing there is it's just that's reality. That's business. You know what I mean? You're gonna lose people along the way. So hoping you can get good replacements, man. But I think the real win, as you said, is it kind of forces you to figure out the system. So that next time, if that person leaves, it's not a big deal. You've got the system now. Yes, it's gonna be some work to replace them, but you can just hand that system to somebody else. They can kind of just pick it up from there. Also love the fact that you're staying in touch with Ross and people in the group, man. That's always cool to hear.
Yeah, he's I when we went to the mastermind in Dublin there, I listened to Ross talk, and he just had a completely different perspective on how the internals of a business should operate, and
Mm,
it's exactly what I need. Not in a strange way, but it was nearly the yin to my yang. Like, I'm so
love
far
it.
in the future, I'm planning for 6 months, 12 months, how we can get more revenue in the door. Well, if you actually tweak things internally, you
Hmm.
don't necessarily have to do everything else outside. If you can keep all your customers rather than losing, we'll say 30%, do that first and then worry about getting more. Keep your retention rate. And yeah, Ross was brilliant at all that.
100%. Yeah, 100%, man. This has been good, Adam. This has been good. I think it's been some good insights here, man. What I'd love to do is kind of transition into a Q and A. So if people
Yeah,
that are on the call have questions, we can just run through some of those
awesome.
and yeah, just see what we get from there, man. But so far this has been bloody class, man. So yeah, guys, I know we've got about 13 or so people on. So if you have any questions for Adam, drop them in, whether it's for the food business, like what he's doing there, marketing related, whatever, or just with the clients he has now, the 5 clients, just send them in and we can tackle them. As we're waiting for a few of those to come in, I am going to ask a question for you, Adam, which is, I guess, with the clients you have, I know some people are going to hear that and go, damn, like you've got 5 clients, but you're making 5.5 a month. So, like, your average client is paying 1.1 a month,
Yeah.
essentially. So, what's the kind of spread there? Like, are they all on the same package, or do you have some that are much higher and some that are on
I
lower packages?
I do have there's a spread of packages, shall we say.
Hmm.
So particularly because I do have the food business, I didn't want to not well, we won't say waste my time, but like lower cost package, but three or
Hmm.
500 euro. I just couldn't
Hmm.
dedicate the time to put in the necessary work for that little amount of money. So I was going for the higher end, higher ticket clients. So I did. I got a big one. One client alone was 2.5 grand. But
Hmm.
the proposal I sent out and the package and there must have been 7 8 hours alone going to that proposal. There was 2 meetings in person, so there was a lot more. But they're the kind of the packages and deals that made it worth it for me with the little amount of time I do have. So I couldn't dedicate the time to 20 or 25 clients at the
Hmm.
moment without outsourcing. But I said 5 really good clients, I can give them a lot of
Hmm.
time and a lot of attention. But of course,
Hmm.
it's going to come at a higher cost.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. And like, there's pros and cons of everything, but for you having less clients now, like you said, you've more time to put into them, which probably means you're going to get more of that positive feedback, testimonials, reviews, which is then going to snowball into you getting more clients down the line as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool, man. So we got a couple in here already. So Dimitri said, fantastic story. Completely agree. Yeah, super, man. He said, what worked the best for you to come up with ideas for the videos you're creating on the food business?
That's Yeah, I've been looking into AI a lot recently for video ideas, but to be 100% honest with you, it's all what comes to me at that moment in time. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
just pull out the camera and I won't leave the camera till I have a video or till
Yeah.
I have something I want to talk about. And then sometimes I can be sitting in bed at night or I can going for a walk and I'll see somebody like video idea. I'm gonna write it down in my notes. Then when I
Mm-hmm.
do go make the videos, I will that's what I'm going to talk about. It's not necessarily that I have a formula or plan of things I want to talk about. It's just it's more my passion and
Mm-hmm.
what I'm passionate about. So a series that's going really well for me at the moment is ways I'd improve Drogheda. So the town
Love it.
I'm from, not necessarily related to either of my businesses at all. But I know on the back end, I'm going to get more clients from it because people can see I'm passionate about the area. We want to make changes, and it's just going to create me more revenue opportunities while also talking about something I'm really passionate about. So yeah, literally whatever comes to my mind, I'm going to write it down or I'm going to film it right there and then. Not every video I'm going to post is going to be great. Some videos get 100,000 views, some videos get 2,000 views, but over time, the averages just keep going up.
Love it, man. Love it. And that's something as well. Obviously, you've seen probably my content as well, Adam,
Yeah.
following that same method of let me just talk about things that are, going to get attention. They're going to get people into the ecosystem. And it doesn't mean they're going to be buying from me right away, but it's they see me, hopefully they like my perspective, and then they go, cool, I'm going to stick around for a while. And then they see more content. And eventually then they get interested and maybe they then buy. So yeah, guys, for your clients, like don't be afraid to go a bit more broad. If you're gonna go broad with your content ideas, it's a really good idea to speak with your clients and like let them know that you're going to do this. Because I have seen it in the past where somebody has worked with a client and they've gone, kind of very broad content. And again, what we mean by that is content that's not, hey, here's our food, go buy our food. It's broad. It's maybe about the country the food is being created in, right? Where the goal is just to kind of get as many people in and then funnel them down. Make sure you chat to your client because if you don't, they can sometimes just see that if you don't tell them you're going to do this and go, what the hell are we doing? Like, why are we posting this random content? So you just need to make sure that you're communicating that to them and they get it and they're on board with it and they can see, like, show them Adam's page, like show them proof of other people doing it where it actually works. Just keep that in mind.
Even to reconfirm your point there, Adam, that is something I do. If I'm going wider on the content, I always pull them back in. We'll say one in every 15 to 20 posts with a
Mm-hmm.
call to action. So with a call to action is we want people that's when we ask them to purchase something, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I do private chef hire, private catering for parties, in-office parties, all that kind of stuff. So I done one video and the hook was, bet you didn't know we do this, bit of street food, do private catering or private chef hire. Comment the word party if this is something you're interested in down below. I got 11 comments with the word party. Three of them turned into sales. So that was about
Oh.
3.5 grand in sales. So once again, I didn't necessarily make any money from the content, but
Mm-hmm.
from people following the journey, get them into the Biddles micro network, do your call to action. People bought in, they've seen everything. 11 comments, free purchase, 3,500 euro.
Love
Just
it.
like that.
Love it, man. Love it. And this is the science behind it. It's all calculated. Next question we got for you, man, is from Gareth. He said, with the clients you have now, what's your preferred methods of outreach? And then also what industries are they in?
Yeah, well, my preferred method of outreach. I've been lucky enough in the sense that actually about three of them have come to me
Mm-hmm.
organically from seeing my content. That's what got me
Mm-hmm.
into the whole idea of creating this business because people were seeing my content for Biddles and said, "Oh, he's good at social media. I wonder will he do it for my business?" And the first one I threw out is, "Yeah, I'll do it. 15 videos a month for 1,000 euro." And they said, "Okay," and that's what got me into it. But then, for the most part, it's been in person. I have just popped in a couple of businesses and said, I see what you're trying to do here. You might be posting at the moment. I think I can do it better. Here's why I can do it better because I get 900,000 views a month. My face is on that billboard over there, or uh, I have a new location. I'm literally living proof that this
Mm-hmm.
social media business works. I can do it for you. And then once again, when I did get one or two clients and I got them some good videos, like I was working with a carpenter there. One of his videos got 250,000 views and turned into off that one video, we got about 11,000 euro in inquiries for jobs and 7.5 grand in job bookings. And I can
Love
go to
it.
every other client after that. I keep the whole, literally like a Bible of social proofs. Why does this work in this industry? This guy that made this much money. Why does this work in food? I made this much money. And as I go, I'm just going to keep building up that.
Love it. Love it, man. And guys, if you're starting this and you're not posting yourself online, that's fine, right? Obviously, we've tons of people in the group that get clients through different methods, but the key that I want you to take from that with Adam is if you're open to it, post yourself. Why not? Right. And number two is just try and really get great results with your clients. Because if you do, like you're building what you're doing there is you're putting in more time and effort at the start to build that proof for later. That proof Like you don't need 100 testimonials. You don't need 100, 10 out of 10 clients. You just need a couple that have gotten a good experience with you, and you've got a good system that you can then use for more, So just get a couple of really good results and you're kind of set from there. Next, then we've got from Abby. She said, very inspiring. What did you find hardest with social media marketing when you started offering it to others? And then how did you overcome that?
The hardest part was the price boundary, to be 100% honest. As I
Mm,
said, I wasn't looking to do it for cheap. I just, it didn't entice me.
yeah.
I've always thought, Alex Ramosi has a great saying, tell the rich people they have more money to spend. And yeah, it was that basis. And I had to work out, right, how would I overcome it? If someone came to me and said, yeah, you are going to pay me €1,000 for videos, I'd want to know what I'm going to get in return. So for the most part, depends what way they're looking at it. But a product-based business is going to want more sales than what they're spending with you. Simple as that. And I had the social proof there from what I'm doing that if you pay me €1,000 a month, I can make you. We'll just throw out a figure like €10,000 a month. If you're getting a 10-to-1 return, you're actually like you're just a bad business person if you don't make that purchase. If I told you I can get you a 4, 5, 10-to-1 return, do it. It was just that was the biggest thing I had to overcome, and it really made me delve into my analytics, what we were doing, and how much social media has actually benefited my business to be able to go to other people and reconfirm the point that this is the way forward for business, or even if businesses like one business that didn't work for, I was trying to get a solar panel company
Mm-hmm.
€1,000 a month for 15 videos, and they were spending 10, 15 grand on media already that wasn't performing. If they got one extra solar panel install a month, they would have 4 times their investment on me. And they weren't willing to. Not everyone you're going to get across the line, but any savvy business person, when they see the potential for them kind of returns, will jump at the opportunity.
100%. 100%. And like, again, that mindset as well, man, of just knowing you're not going to make everybody happy is, man, it's important. It's so
Yeah.
important. If I had a dollar for every time somebody would get one client, that pour their heart and soul into working with that client, and then maybe it just didn't quite click for that client, or the client didn't do what they needed to do on their behalf. Like maybe the content was good, maybe the social media was growing, maybe the business owner didn't call any of the leads and didn't actually try and make money from what we were bringing in, and that person then quits because they get demotivated from that one bad experience. It's like, no, look, guys, you're gonna have clients where it's not the best. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to blow up their social media. There was this really good example at an event we did. Kira, one of the people in the group that's doing about 10K a month, mentioned that she had a client for an entire year where she hadn't grown them much on social media. And some people might hear that and say, whoa, that's so unethical. But it's not, because her client was delighted. They were super happy because she was maintaining their profile and doing the work they didn't want to do, which was managing their social media page. And they were getting leads through like Facebook ads where they would call them up and then they would just direct them back to the Instagram, almost like a portfolio. So the work Kira was doing was still actually directly bringing in money for the business, even though she wasn't massively growing their social media. And so just that perspective, I know at that event we did was really good for people to hear, because oftentimes we think if I don't get this client 1 million views or 100,000 views in the first month, they're not going to want to pay me. Sometimes that's the case if they're not going to do the work on their part. But when you find that company that does the work in their part, sometimes you don't need to get them crazy results and they're going to be
Yeah.
still happy with you.
Exactly. And even just on that, like people quitting too early. Like my first client, who I mentioned there, the carpenter, but it was the best first month I thought ever. We ended up getting him 7 grand in sales. He only paid me €1,000 pure. He was in the green on that.
Yeah,
And then he wanted to leave straight away. He's like, Adam, I don't want it's not worth it. People, my face on camera and everything. So not you just can't please everyone. If someone told me I could make an extra 6 grand, I know there was costs involved there. I would have jumped at the opportunity. But you can't please everyone all the time, and you just have to. When you do get knocked down, you just have to pick yourself back up.
100%. 100%, man. Adam, what would you give as, I guess, kind of like a final, piece of advice for people, right? Because you've given some really good tips and like tactical things they can take away from this. But let's say for the person that's thinking about starting social media marketing, they have no background. like no experience. They've never posted content before. What do you think that person should hear from someone like you that's now done this for his own business, then started offering it as a service to other companies, and you're doing well, man.
Yeah, yeah. Look, probably the first thing I'd say is just don't be afraid to take the chance because you can always go back to what you were doing before. I think too many people get tied up on that fact.
Yeah.
Like if my businesses weren't to succeed, even now, I can just go back and do the exact same job I
Yeah.
was doing, and I could probably do it somewhere else and get a 5 grand pay increase. So going from 30 grand to 35 grand, like it's never the there's an opportunity cost, but also you don't want to live life with regret either. You weren't put on this planet, in my opinion, to live a simple life and work a 9 to 5 and get told when to go on lunch and get told when you can take holidays. That's never been someone's aspirations growing up. I'd say take the opportunity, whether it is invest in a mentorship, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 euro. That money can always come back. And if you're willing to put in the work and put in the grit, there's no reason why it doesn't. Like as I mentioned even before earlier in this call, I've tried loads of different businesses. I've
Mm.
tried loads of different ways to make money, and you just pivot with the times. You adjust to the things that are going to work. And yeah, like if I was to close Biddles tomorrow, I know I'm going to make more money doing something else, and I know I'm not going to quit. That's probably the biggest thing I tell everyone. Just don't quit. There's only two outcomes: you either win or you quit, and I'm in it to win. I'm not in it to quit.
Love it, man. That's a high to end it on. What being fucking lovely, man. Well, Adam, just what I'm gonna do quickly is we'll drop your like social medias and stuff so people can
Awesome.
check them out.
Yeah.
So for Instagram, it's bidos_street food. I think TikTok is the same,
Same.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So guys, definitely check them out. Follow what he's doing. Give him feedback as well if you found this valuable. And Adam, really appreciate you taking the time, man.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. Really great.
100%, man.
Here's to making
100%.
more money.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Talk to you soon, okay?
Pleasure. See you again. Thanks, everyone.
See you, man.
Bye
Have
bye.
a good one.